We'll see how this goes.
This is the very first stage that I shot with my PCC on my PCC run at CQB Brutality.
Are you ready?
Ready.
I am dressed in what's either my completely regular clothes or my Harry Dresden cosplay outfit. This stage, they're calling this the Rainbow Six stage. What it amounts to is a stage where they make you shoot a lot of stuff with your offhand. And, well, I am very right-eye dominant, and I struggle trying to shoot left-handed. Like, just getting my left eye lined up the sight on a long gun is a disaster. It's just, my eyes don't want to do it. My left eye rejects being the eye I'm aiming for. Now, it's not terrible. I was able to get through it, but you can see every time I'm doing left-handed, it takes so much longer when I'm shooting right-handed. This was, first you saw going in the hallway, targets both sides, and do some nice lean-outs. Typical sort of thing you see at a Brutality match. You run over to the next bay after clearing, and once again, you have to shoot right-handed on the right side, left-handed on the left side. And it will end with some hostage taker targets, where the hostage itself is a no-shoot, where you have a penalty to hit it. I get all the targets, I get everything clean, but once again, you see right here, man, I'm just struggling to aim using my left eye. Now, I do end up 39 out of 48 people who actually completed the match in PCC, which is not great, but could be worse.
Okay. Move up. Left hand. Hit. Right hand. Hit. All right. Move to clear. Hit. Clear. Here.
Last round.
Nice.
We have one in there.
Stage 2, this is Dawn of the Dead. This is a pretty interesting stage, kind of unusual sort of scoring. This entire bay is all bonuses. You have 30 seconds to get as many targets as possible. All their paper targets, only headshots count. All the knockdowns, you just have to knock down. So if you can get all of these are all bonuses, 10 seconds each. It's 190 seconds of bonuses, which I get. PCC, this is pretty damn easy to do. Just run right through it. This is, of course, Tactical Sloth's AR-9, KP-9 based one. Excellent, excellent gun. Ran great throughout the entire match. We both ran it with a total of 1,100-something rounds through it in one day. Flawless. So after you run over here, knock down that guy, do the same thing to the other side, except these targets are all required targets. So any that you don't get are a penalty. I get all of them in a pretty decent amount of time. I end up 23 out of 48 on this stage. We're getting solidly up to mid-pack, which is a lot better than they used to be. This stage is Miami FBI shootout. You start seated in your car, get 5 hits on that steel. Then you come over here. There is a Know Your Limits target. You can get 1 hit on each of those. Now, the first few ports would have been all pistol if you're shooting pistol and long gun, and you're required to use the long gun on the last port. You get all the knockdowns from here. PCC, of course, you do everything in the PCC. And for the final port, you have the paper targets. You need 2 hits on each, and you can use only your strong hand on the gun, one-handing it the whole time to simulate what happened at the actual event. This one went pretty well for me. 25 out of 42. Still staying up there at that solid mid-pack kind of placement.
If you're done, unload and show clear.
Now this stage, Black Hawk Down stage, Mogadishu Mile. This was the match organizer's gift to the people who brought rifles to this match. All these targets are gun dependent. You have to get 5 hits on each of these if you're shooting PCC, 3 with rifle, 1 if you have a shotgun. So, a lot of ammo went down range on this stage. Now, I did pretty good. The very end was going to be a spinner. I hard out, not quite getting a spinner. And a lot of people hard out in that spinner. There was a tie from the 14th place all the way to 35th place for everyone who got everything and then hard out in the spinner, and I was right in there. Once again, gun's running great. Now, I've been using mag pull from mag for basically all the stages where I can start with one. And I didn't reload until I got all the way down here where you have those steel targets that, once again, for PCC, you have to get 5 hits on each one. And it would have been faster to reload quickly on the run, but I didn't want to drop that in the dirt because those are pretty finicky magazines. I didn't want to start malfunctioning later in the day. But all these hits are pretty easy.
I left.
But just seeing that spinner, getting the time right, usually missing. I start out with fresh mag on the spinner. Fine. But I kind of screw up. End up accidentally stopping it. The new mag, get it going. I feel like if I'd had another 10 seconds, I would have gotten the spinner. But I ran out of time. Now, on the other hand, the gamer move here would have been giving up on the damn spinner, because you could have done that and stopped the time, but, well, I didn't, and I barred out.
Yeah, you may want to set them down neatly.
This stage is the Doom stage. Now, I do pretty decent, okay, I guess. I get 35 out of 48 on this stage. The way it is, there are 3 kettlebells of different weights down there. You get to run them in whatever order you want. You pick up the kettlebell. This one is 88 pounds. You run it down to the table, plop it down on the appropriately colored dot on the table, and then you go for the targets. For PCC, you gotta get 5 hits on each of the steel. And then there's a big cardboard target with a small hole in it. You're not shooting that target. You're shooting a target down at the end of the bay, looking through that tiny hole. It makes it kind of hard to see the target, hard to aim. You have to get yourself at just the right spot to see through the cardboard target. Surprisingly challenging, even though that wouldn't have been that difficult a target if you didn't have to aim through that tiny hole in the cardboard. Next kettlebell is, I think, a 45. Repeat the same thing. The last one is going to be the tiny one. Going with the strategy of doing the heaviest lifting first. The tiny one is, I think, 25. Yeah, these quick range targets, you got to shoot them with pistol. If you're doing 2-gun, very easy to run with PCC. A distance target, you can see me kind of like moving myself around a bit, trying to line up the sights through that little hole. But yeah, fun stage. And of course, you can't have a brutality match without some kettlebells somewhere.
Nice shot.
This stage is called Urban Prone. It's called that because you have to shoot Urban Prone, which is laying on your side with your strong side shoulder required to be touching the ground from each of these 3 points. It requires a caliber-dependent series of hits on each of 3 steel targets from each of those 3 positions. Now, this wasn't that bad. I mean, there's a certain amount of moving around. I probably could have been more efficient. But, you know, slightly awkward position. Not something I'd practice, but wasn't that hard to get into. But I'm certainly not shooting as fast as I would have from a more conventional position. That's 3 hits on each target. Now, after you finish these, if you were shooting 2-gun, you'd run up, draw your pistol, engage the remaining targets with the pistol. Once again, great time to be running a PCC. You can do all of those with long gun. Makes it very easy. I will ultimately end up with 30 out of 48 on this stage. All right.
Go, go, go!
Now, I'm running the drum the whole time, and I change mags before I get to the spinner. So you get down here, take out the Texas Star, and there's a spinner, but at a distance where it can be done with a pistol, and it goes over very fast with the PCC.
All right, just a spinner, you got this.
Over!
Very nice.
103.12. Nice shooting.
All right, stand by.
This is the Billy the Kid stage. Required to attempt those 5 targets with a magazine of only 5 rounds. Yep. Empty. Run back. Over. If you get any of those targets, there's a 10-second bonus for each one, and you do not have to engage in the end.
5 on each corner.
I can't shoot from the hip. Practice that. I just dumped 5 rounds, kind of near the target, and didn't get any of them. Then you have these 2 red ports. You have to require, once again, caliber-dependent hits from the large steel on each side from each of the red ports. So I get my 5 hits on each of them from there, get my 5 hits from each of them from this red port. Not that big a deal. And you go to the center and get any targets you didn't get while shooting from the hip, which is, of course, all of them for me. I placed 29 out of 48 on this stage. The next stage, Starship Troopers theme stage. Run underneath tables, roll rain bug,
There we go.
hit some targets.
Very nice.
Camera battery was dying, so a bunch of this is missing, unfortunately.
Stand by.
I get 29th on this stage. This is our final stage of the day, hence the dying camera battery and just a handful of clips rather than the entire stage. Oh well, but it was an incredibly fun event.
Don't forget the center. No, no, no. Blue, center. Come on, you got this. I didn't.
All right. That's it.